Okay, it's on.
Those are the nice ones.
Okay, Melissa, it's on.
Okay, picking up. We're going to resume with item 3, additions to the agenda.
We have warrant articles 69, 70, and 71, and they're in the section 12. Cleanup day, and that's posted around town and is set for May 7. The offer from Lance Burgess is down under item 9.
Okay, moving on to item 4, open forum, half-hour time limit, 5 minutes. Anybody have anything to say? Thank you. Okay, moving on, item 5, communications, MMA HR conference. Go ahead.
Human resources.
That was, yes, Human Resource on June 7, if anyone wanted to go.
Where is it? Do you
In
know?
Augusta,
No.
a thing was put in your
Oh, I must
Folder.
have overlooked it.
from last time.
Thank you.
Okay. The town manager is going on vacation from May 19 to May 30.
Happy trails.
So we need an interim or acting town manager in his absence.
I make a motion that Tom Crone take the position until you come back.
Wait, till he comes back on May 30th, right?
Till
Suppose
whatever
he doesn't come
day,
back.
he absolutely
matter.
comes
Okay.
back into
All
the
right.
office. If he should get
Run over.
hijacked,
Kidnapped, ransomed.
kidnapped, whatever, we'll put a can up to the
No,
Robinsons
that's
for him.
fucked up. I'll second that.
Any discussion? Vote? Okay.
Also, since I'll be away for 2 Thursdays, which is our payday, I request that that the town clerk be authorized to give me my paychecks in advance, otherwise they sit in a safe, which doesn't pay my bills while I'm away.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
You vote.
Discussion?
No.
Vote?
In your packet was a letter from Diane McCarthy Clark about the Gray Road. And that was also taken up at the road committee meeting held last Monday. There are 2 major sections of the Gray Road that turn to mud in the spring that need to be addressed. We need to find out what's the best practice for correcting it, and then what it's going to cost, how much can we afford to do this year, how much we may have to do in next year. But the Gray Road needs to be taken care of. Emergency vehicles can't get up, bus for the kids can't get up, people in their homes can't get out. And it's something that's gone on far too long and needs to be corrected. We need a correction plan. The road committee would like to meet after the select board meets. The select board will give affirmation to correct the serious errors on the Gray Road.
They'll be working with Peter on that.
Correct.
Obviously.
Do you guys want to make a motion? That we do this?
Could we just go over really quick? I know only because of the way you worded it, but what we need to do as far as where it was, some people think parts discontinued, others aren't, where that's at, and what we need to do in the future to make that right.
Okay. What we did find in Monday night in looking at it is the Gray Road from the Flanders Hill Road to the Flanders Hill Road is a town way. It has never been discontinued. So at some point, the town meeting is going to have to vote on discontinuance of at least a portion of the Gray Road. So it might be that from Lance's driveway to the Flanders Hill Road, we would discontinue that.
To the east.
To the east.
To the
To the
east.
what?
To the east. You don't want to go back to the west, because
No, to the, okay, to the, yes.
but you see what we're,
To
where
the
we're
east,
going.
yeah, to the
okay.
Flanders, yeah.
That's why, yeah.
To the bottom of the hill, yeah.
Yes, on the east end.
So we have to.
The other hill.
Yeah, we have to determine that, and that ties in with a Lance Burgess offer that we're going to be taking up as well. The section from Lance's driveway to the section that is ostensibly maintained by the town is not up to town standards yet. Width and, the road itself. So that is going to be a discussion for the road committee to figure out what needs to be done, what kind of, is it fabric and just a lot of coarse rock and rebuilding the base on the Gray Road and the two sections where we have all the mud, which is after the first hill going up and then after the second hill going up, where it all turns to mud. Laying more gravel just makes more mud. So it has, there's a real problem with drainage. So ditching, what can be done, fabric, rock, coarse rock, things like that. We'll have the, get some experts in here to get, their opinions, etc. And see what,
Excuse me just for a minute,
Yep.
Candy, can I see you please?
yes.
It's very important.
Yep.
That scares me. So is there any reason, like, we can't mark the boundaries of the road with GPS coordinates now that we're living in a modern age?
If they're accurate enough.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
you would have.
Surveyors do it that way.
Toby knows about that stuff, but.
if you could go for the coordinates of the end of where the town would end and then down to the bottom of the hill, and then it wouldn't be contingent on paving or not paving or...
Toby, you have any response to that? Are you familiar with GPS at all, Toby?
Well, just very little, but I don't think you're going to be able to do that.
That won't work that way?
But I think you're going to have boots on the ground.
Yeah, I would agree.
And survey that.
Steel tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering GPS gets it all wrong now.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Well,
have.
the problem with GPS is there's too many different programs.
Mhm.
And then there's too many different If the town had their own GPS system, and that's what you use to plot with, then the town system could be accurate.
Yeah.
But the problem with GPS is I own one, and you own one, and you own one, and we all bounce off different towers.
So there's no...
So that's how you end up
I
in
had
this.
no idea.
Yes, even with,
Surveyors have their own GPS
Yes, they have
system
their
that
own
they
system,
use
yeah.
to go and plot like that on the ground.
Okay.
Well, even
Because that's
given-
what Daryl does.
Yeah, given the town's history of surveying, I mean, it's all been, boots on the ground survey, and that would be consistent. And I think you're looking for less trouble doing that.
So do we need to make some sort of vote that we're definitely going to do this project this summer? and
Yeah, I
make it
think,
a
yes,
priority?
this is an urgent matter, and I think we need the support of the select board going forward, that we're going to fix the problem as much as possible this year and finish it next year.
I make a motion, so move.
Second.
Yeah,
May I ask?
go
I
ahead.
know that we have to live with things.
In the past, there have been times that we used, I know you've got things laid out for road improvement monies, but is it possible to use some of those roads? I mean, this is if you have a paved road and it's cracked a little bit, some different than what we're dealing with up there.
Absolutely, you guys seriously.
Yeah, well, it's been that way for quite a while.
I didn't realize until I read the letter that it was that bad. I had no idea. I mean, I never go up there,
You know, nobody, well,
Yeah.
there are
Yeah,
people that come up there, but
Yeah, that could be used.
Yeah, I had no
Yeah.
idea,
Yeah, it's not just in the spring either, because last fall, with my four-wheel pickup, went right to the frame. So.
Well, you guys pay a goodly amount of taxes up there, so
Well,
you
some
gotta
of
get
us do.
something.
Yeah.
All of you do, don't worry, everybody does.
Well, regardless
You
of
know.
taxes, my important part of this is for public safety.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, heaven forbid, any medical or,
No.
Well, the
I-
turnaround
criminal
all
thing
along
or
should have been
whatever.
your dooryard, because where it turns right now, I mean,
Well, you
we
look at the
didn't
telephone
drop
pole.
a school bus off of there a long time ago, it's a miracle.
Yeah, Brenton and then he saw the telephone pole all beat to pieces up there.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason it's beat to pieces, because
Yeah.
they can't turn around decent there,
Right,
and
right,
the school bus gets stuck there. School bus is backing out now.
yeah.
That's not good.
so in part of this plan, we're gonna incorporate a good enough turnaround space for either plow truck, school bus.
We'll be taking that up when we,
Okay.
under
All right.
Lance's offer.
Okay.
That's probably where we ought to.
Yeah, so
Right.
let's move
I
on.
seconded it, so.
Seconded, discussion's over, so let's take a vote. All those in favor? Okay. So money will be spent,
Okay.
lots of it.
D, on the
Thank
village,
you.
on the, okay, on the village cemetery wall damage.
Tom.
A woman, to avert hitting a deer, hit our wall instead at the village cemetery, dislodging a lot of the stones. I asked our sexton to give me a cost estimate for fixing it. He said $4,500. I sent it to the insurance company. The insurance company asked for more detail. I asked him to give me more detail. He gave me the detail and put it at $4,200, and got the check yesterday. So with the select board approval, I'll like to authorize the sexton to fix the stone wall at the village cemetery for the price of $4,200. $4,200 comes from the insurance company of the driver of the car.
Oh, okay.
It's not our insurance company, her insurance company.
Those little rocks, right?
What?
Big flat stones.
The flat stones, yeah.
Flat.
You guys want to make a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second it. I want a little discussion though.
Discussion?
You seconded it, right?
I second it. My comments will be that I will vote for it, but it will be under duress, because I hate what my insurance premiums are. And this, I feel, is an extreme example of why we all pay what we do for premiums.
Vote?
Okay,
You gotta give him his moment.
I was quiet, I let him ramble.
I
learned a long time ago.
do want to read a press release that the state of Maine sent out today, this afternoon.
Is this
Well, I got it at 10.
very important situation? This is not the important situation you had to take care of a few minutes ago.
No.
Oh, okay.
The Maine Department of Economic and Community Development is announcing that 7 towns from Lubec to Lisbon have been awarded funding on the Community Development Block Grant Program administered by the Office of Community Development. The latest round includes funding from the Micro Enterprise Assistance Grant Program. And of the 7 towns, Sangerville is one of those. $50,000 assistance to Martin Cleaning Service for the purchase of reconditioned propane buffer and auto scrubber, commercial van with equipment, racks, and pull-out rolling ramps, etc. So
Very good.
we will go into what's called Phase 2, which the town has to document that it doesn't discriminate, all the legal things like that. And that then I have to do an environmental review. And when that's all finished, then the Martins can implement the grant.
The Abby Fowler check isn't in there somewhere covered up or anything, right?
We're having a
You're
party
funny.
when that one comes through. The confetti will fly. Okay, let's move on. Is that it for communications? Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, item 6, approval of Selectmen's minutes, April 12, 2016. Make a motion to approve.
I see under unfinished business, section A. after a considerable discussion as to the role of the salaries committee, shouldn't that be budget committee?
Do not get
Oh, yeah.
changed.
No, didn't on the draft.
What, I'm sorry, can you get a number?
A.
for that?
This is the draft ready to get finished on the final copy, because I sent that back too. It's
Okay.
not the salary
Employee
committee,
salaries?
No, you have it right there
Budget
already.
committee.
He has a.
Budget committee.
You have it right, it's just on the
Just
draft.
on the draft.
Okay.
All right.
Final, my final.
Yep.
copy.
Good. I didn't have anything
Okay, who
else.
made the second on that? Anybody?
Yeah.
Dale? Okay.
And, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get the first.
Me. I'm not doing it from here on out. You two are gonna have to pick up the road. Okay. No more discussion? Okay, vote?
Yeah.
Signatures. Did people sign in
Yeah, what, this meeting?
for this meeting?
No.
This meeting, no.
No, we did not.
I need to have you.
For that meeting.
So evidently, some people didn't sign in the last meeting, did they?
Oh,
I don't know who the
print.
dude in the
Please
corner
print.
was. That's the one that I kept.
Clipboard here?
Back in the corner, there's a guy with a beard, and I don't know who it was. And it's
If
not
you would
often I don't recognize.
pass this around and sign in, please.
No, we should get them.
Thank you. All right, item 7, unfinished business, none. Item 8, new business. A, Bureau of Labor Standards courtesy inspection.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
Hopefully, we learned our lesson in the past.
May I respond to that? I
No,
mean, you haven't got a motion yet.
not yet, just hold on.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to investigate this, and I would say to recommend to have a complimentary or a courtesy inspection by BLS.
I'm almost afraid to have them around, though.
Painless.
Nothing with BLS is painless in our world.
No.
Going through the fines is painful.
Is there a second?
I guess not, the motion fails for,
Yeah.
I'm nervous, Dale's nervous.
I'm
I'd like to hear what
petrified.
Lance has to say about this.
Well, I mean,
well, you can open it up for
I'm-
discussion.
yeah, you-
Either
you-
fail for a
Yeah.
second.
I have a great deal of information from the last one.
Okay, yeah, you sorted that out all
I
by
was
yourself.
very
pretty much.
instrumental in. We had 40 violations, and the town manager at the time was corresponding with the head of Bureau of Labor Standards, saying that we had certain things done. Nothing was done.
Where were all the documents and everything, Mr. Burgess, that were found
Well, they were
safely stored away?
yeah, safely stored away, yeah. Anyway, the town manager left, and when I was sitting in at the desk, Mr. Woodbury's current desk, and I look at this and I said, what in the world is this? And so I called up the head of Bureau of Labor Standards, and that guy was wild. Okay, and he sent me a time frame of, thank you, Cynthia, everything that had happened, and out of the 40 violations, none of them had been addressed. None of them. And so we got Sam Knight, I think is, to come, and we went around every single violation, and he showed us what needed to be done, and we proceeded to get them all. But the only one that we didn't get is they had to, what do they call it when they check the I-beams up the garage?
Yeah, they had to certify.
Load
the
rating. And they had to have engineers come up to do that. So with a great deal of help, we were able to get all of that, but we had gotten fined before that. We didn't even know about the fine. We had gotten fined. And the guy at the Bureau of Labor Standards says, you realize that I have the authority to fine you as much as your annual budget if you don't clean this up. As much as he says, I've done that before with some towns. So, and we were able to avoid that. And I'll tell you right now, I've been after Tom for quite some time. When I saw that, I said, oh, I know where that came from. Because they like to see you proactive. okay? They'd love to have you call and say, take a walk around with us, show us what needs to be corrected. Because if they show up unannounced, okay, then you get some problems.
And we're on the radar because we had
Yeah.
those 40 violations.
So you're saying this is a good
sometime
thing for us to do?
Oh, absolutely. If I were up there, I'd insist. I do,
Okay.
yeah.
I know the guy came through when Dave was here, right before Dave left. Because I happened to be there when he flashed his badge out and I said, ooh, I'm leaving. But,
Well, it doesn't deal with just the public works garage. This building, the fire station things.
yeah,
I just want to say that,
Wanda's got some.
oh, I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
I do think it's a good idea, because what we just went through with the fire department not too long ago, if we've actually had somebody come in to help us and say, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need it to be compliant with BLS, we wouldn't have spent, Jeff and I, hours and hours and hours, and I spent a lot of hours in that department before you two went to Bangor. Writing procedures, filing procedures, getting things ready. And we went from what, $3,800, that's fine, to $250 or $350?
200, yeah, 200.
Yeah.
Because if
So-
you make that good faith effort to show that you want to stay on top of things, even if you miss something and you do go into a fine status, the fines are going to be a lot less because you made a concerted effort to at least correct either all of them or the majority of them or whatever. And I know that Jeff and I, was it, you went to, yeah, that's right, you went to, we went down for to get the violations taken care of and say what we corrected. And it wasn't the best thing in the world to do. I mean, I could have spent a day doing a little bit better things than that, but it was, he was happy, when we sat there in front of him and we got told what we had to do, and when he starts coming up with the number, well, we're going to figure out what the fine is now. I mean, I know I was sweating it a little bit, but it came down to a fairly small amount of money compared to what it could have been.
This is what landed on my desk when I first arrived. Were all these violations with certain time frames that they had to be corrected. The playgrounds were on there, the fire department. So it's all of our buildings, the public works garage, but a lot of the stuff had been corrected before I got here, but then they were still, mostly the fire department and the playgrounds were still outstanding. And we corrected them. I talked with them a number of times to get some time to do it. And we went down, talked with them. They volunteered that they have a unit that will go out and supposedly, and I understand where you're, supposedly these people who go out and advise us and help us are truly there to help us, aren't there to find out what has gone wrong and then go tell the enforcement arm.
Well, that's what Sam did. And we actually held a training right out here in the parking lot for area towns. We held training right here for other towns that weren't quite in compliance.
So,
Ken, you think this is a good idea?
well, I understand the
It's a crapshoot,
concern.
isn't it?
But he did try to assure us, right, that this wasn't, they weren't here to,
Well, it's kind of a question, do you invite the fox into the hen house, I mean, if the fox is already eaten, then he's not gonna eat any of your chickens, but I still stand by past experience of what Lance went through, and it was, fortunately, Lance took the bull by the horns and directed, with some assistance to get all those violations taken care of, because they're not the people that you want to just stuff the paperwork in a drawer and forget about.
sometimes, they change their rules, we don't know about it. We're operating in good faith. And sometimes, like with the fire department, there were changes in, in commanders and records,
You had
So,
something?
May I ask a question?
Hang on.
When you was announcing the departments, I just wanted to say that my department had no fines.
That's because
Because he needed to get that patent back to the
It's not that he didn't have violations, he had violations, it's just he got them corrected.
Violations, but they were not finable.
You know, they were corrected. All they do is tell you you got some violations, and they give you some time to correct it.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you don't correct it, then they come in with a hammer,
Yeah.
big hammer.
Go ahead.
If you had a violation that hadn't been cited or corrected, and something were to happen where there were an injury,
Mm.
would you would be, the town would be liable for
Very
being
liable.
sued
Right, very.
as a result. So knowing what the violations are and correcting them prior to a litigation piece might,
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
exactly.
But ignorance of the law is bliss. If you don't know you're in violation and somebody got hurt, yes, you are going to be fined. But if they come in and tell you that's in violation and you still do the same practice and somebody gets hurt before that's corrected,
Then you get
we
what
will
you-
be hung.
But then you get what you deserve.
Yes.
But I mean,
We as a government are held to a higher standard than individuals in society. We're expected to set examples.
Exactly.
I personally would like to table it, and I would like to do a little bit of, see if we can't find out what else is available to have the same end result without having them come in. Whether it be through WorkSafe or other type of training or classes.
You can just go on their website and print everything off?
I know personally at the mill, we use WorkSafe quite a bit. We go to a lot of their stuff, but they are not allowed in the door. They're more than willing to come up here and teach the whole class on your facility, but they won't let them in.
And I just want to add, there's no cost for this courtesy inspection either. But yeah, if you want to think about it.
Yeah, why don't you make a motion for,
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to just table it and see what we can find out, what else is available besides going this route. That's better than,
yes?
I'm just gonna comment on what Dale was saying. Along them lines is you invite them in, it might cost you a lot of money to fix what you got.
no, what it was when we invited,
You
we
can
had been in
fix
the
it.
past,
You can
then
fix
OSHA
it.
showed up and within 2 weeks and fined us.
But-
That's why they're not allowed at the mill anymore. And that happened 2 or 3 years in a row. After they came, told us what we needed to do and was willing to work with us, they left, then OSHA shows up.
They say they're not supposed to, they're two different
I-
departments and
I-
they're supposed to jive.
I understand that. That's why I'd just like to see if there's something else other than just letting them come in.
Go ahead.
You have to understand, even though you invite these other people in to do, the Bureau of Labor Standards has every right at any time
Oh, yeah.
to come in, okay? So you have to understand that they can come in anytime they want to, unannounced.
I've been to hours of OSHA training classes and been involved in a lot of that, so
The only thing it concerns me around here is, and there are a few that will call on us, and they were sitting right in the room tonight. So it's a dicey, we're gonna have to do something, and I'm willing to explore other options on how to get the job done, but yeah, sure. I'll second your motion to table it and have Ken look at other options, and then next time we can make a determination which, we'll do something,
yes.
but, you know.
Yeah, I want to fix the problem. I just,
Right,
don't wanna
right,
jump.
protect our rumpuses as much as we can. Go ahead.
Even the fact that you've recorded it in the minutes is a step forward in the right direction.
Yeah, we don't want to. So, any more discussion? Anybody? No. Okay, let's take a vote.
You voted on,
We voted to have Ken explore.
you had two motions going on.
No,
Well-
he did fail. He didn't win in a second. He scared us so bad. We just couldn't.
I think that's
I know. There are scary
What
things
we
we
went
hear
through
all the time.
6 or 7 years ago was scary.
Okay, B, selection of qualified environmental professional. What is right? Selection of qualified environmental professional.
Yes, we sent out a request for qualified professionals, to come up with the bid specs and everything to actually clean up the Abbey Fowler School. We received 2 proposals. Each one has worked here. One is CES, who has been doing some of the work now, and the other is Ransom,
Who did work in the past.
who did work in the past, did the initial work. Of the 2, they're both qualified. It's not a question of one isn't. I have worked with CES and with Ransom since 2007 on many projects in Milo, Dover Foxcroft, etc. And you people have to, the board has to decide which one to go with. I know you have a history with them. Of the 2, Ransom in a way probably has longer credentials in the area than CES, but that doesn't mean CES couldn't do it.
Since I've been on the board, it's only been CES.
Right.
And I mean, I recognize their names at the least at this point.
And I have a relationship with both of them, and have had, and so it's difficult for me
So does anybody have a lucky quarter? We can just,
to say anything. I don't know if anyone else.
anybody, Brett?
Is there a fee? What is fee?
It all comes out of the grant.
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
but obviously they're not the same.
Well, they don't.
There is, and I tried to go
All
that
the-
route, but
You can't.
you can't.
You can't. All it does is each one gives us their rate sheet. And if you look at them, one of them's got $5 more for this kind of a person, and this one's got $5 less.
And you have no idea who's gonna work 20 hours, and who's gonna work 2, to where that $5 is gonna make a big difference.
And they're both going to do the same thing, which is come up with the bids.
I have a history with both of them, okay? And choose my words very carefully.
Remember, we're being taped.
I know that. Yes,
I can guess where this is going.
Well, yes, if I were to make a choice, I would go with CES. I'm going to leave it at that because I have information that I don't want to share on the tape. I'll share it with you outside, but not on the tape, okay?
I'm comfortable with
I just-
CES. I mean.
I have no idea, I read both. I just wanna make sure it's done. That's, so,
CES has moved it along as fast as we could get the stuff together. So I've never had a feeling from them that they ever drug their feet. And any problem we've had is always the phantom oil tank a couple years ago. Remember, we searched for, we had to teach that guy there that, about finding Bigfoot before he understood.
All
But
right. Well, just so we can properly get in a sequence here, I'll make a motion that we accept CES as the engineering firm. for
I'll
this.
second it.
Basically, I'm doing that just so we can get into discussion. I just want to make a comment. CES has always shown up when, here again, nothing against Ransom, but we have been working more with CES. John Cressy always responds to phone calls and shows up, and what he was here last time.
And he puts it into terms you can
And,
understand, which I like
And
about it.
they've been good about it. So I guess, flip a coin almost, but just because of the familiarity with CES and, Ransom goes back a few years here, and here again, I'm not going to say anything that's amiss. But, no, I just on the face value of CES and dealing with John Cressy, been very informative and very helpful.
Dale, you got anything to add to it?
no, I mean, I basically said that was my concerns with it. I'm really using you guys' knowledge, Lance's comments, and
Let's
that's
take a
where I'm
vote
gonna
then. All in favor?
Did I get a second?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Vote.
Okay, well, that's done too.
Thank you. It's not a decision I
Thank
want
you,
to
Lance.
I didn't say anything.
You were good, you were really good.
I didn't say anything.
You were good. Generator for the fire station. Item C.
Lost my agenda. What's-
That's what it says.
Generator for the fire station.
Oh. The fire department wants to replace its old generator from the Forest Service with a new generator that would cost approximately $3,500. It would have the capacity for running both buildings. That is, the essentials in each building. We have no connection to a generator, and so there'd be an additional expense for us to connect. But the fire department doesn't want to spend $3,500 all by itself. So what they would like is for the town to pay half, and they pay the other half from their budget. We do not have that in our budget. Neither do we have the money to connect. But on the other hand, it certainly would be of great advantage to the town to be connected to a generator, especially in the winter, to at least run circulators on the oil burners so that we continue to have heat if power went off on a weekend. Because these automatically would go on in case of a power shut-off.
You have heat pumps too, don't you? A couple of them?
Yes, but that's not going to, it means all of the well, I can't say all the water. We did change out all the water in the baseboard heating so that it's a chemical now in there that won't freeze.
It's protected down to 0 now. We put in some kind of glycol solution with it, just like like an RV type.
Non-toxic.
So it's, if this building were an emergency shelter, then I would say this is something the town needs to do. We're not an emergency shelter. We're not equipped as an emergency shelter. We don't have first aid. We don't have water stored. We don't have, we don't have any of the stuff that we would need. It would be a nice thing to have, but I can't see that we have the money to do it. If the fire department went ahead and did it on their own through the boot collection and their own budget that we have for them, and then later we wanted to connect, we probably still could.
I know it's premature because you haven't taken apparently we're in the comment stage.
We're trying to figure out whether we
It's
want to
round
do
table.
anything
Round
here.
table.
Really,
Yeah,
But again, to build on what Ken said, it seems that the ideal time to address this, if you're going to bring it to the town, is that, you could have addressed it tonight, but at a town meeting, because you don't have the funds
no.
appropriated to do it right now.
Right. If we wanted to do it, we would still have to
Is
go
it-
back to the town.
May I address something to Jeff? Is it critical that you do it before? Okay, so wouldn't it be more appropriate to, if you're gonna bring it as a warrant article, that the board and the budget committee addresses it at that time?
my other thing too is, and I think would help this one way or another, would be to get an electrician in here to find out what would the cost be to get the panel into here
Well, where's the entrance?
and get the two connected.
I have no idea where the entrance is.
On the Route 23.
Way on
side,
the other side of the
on
building.
the right
It's a lot
hand
of
side
wire.
there.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And-
underground here, or?
Yeah, that's what I mean. What, would you go underground? Would you go above ground? What would that cost be? The other thing is, before we buy a generator and hook the two buildings together,
Mm.
we probably ought to have an electrician figure out what the heat pumps use, what the lights are using. And a lot of these, I know people at work that have bought some of these automatic generators, and they're not capable to run computers. And I know a couple people at work that have brand new furnaces put in and can't run it off their generator. Because the new generator, a lot of your new stuff, there's no filter. So when your generator's running, you get all that static through your electricity, and some of the stuff won't
Well,
run.
it's that sine wave
Yeah.
business that's involved in it for steady current and not too many fluctuations. Have you done any research on what you're looking for this 3500 generator? or-
Yeah, I have.
It's run on
I mean,
propane too, right? We're
propane.
running off of propane, so we don't have to fool around with the gas situation.
See, right now, we're all set anyway. All I've got to get is a trickle charge, charge the battery in that, so.
When's the last time that was run, Jeff?
It weren't running when the power was off last time. I can tell you that.
Does it kick on automatically?
No,
No.
It doesn't.
this one doesn't. You have to start it and hit a switch.
I guess I'd encourage that before, I would encourage you not to just go out and do something if you want to work with the town. You just don't
Information.
take,
Right.
yeah.
A lot of
Wanda?
mayonnaise here.
You guys gotta realize that we have automatic door openings on that fire department, and when the power goes down, which it has several times around here, and if you have an emergency call, we have to jump on top of a truck, take a hook, unhook the doors to get out.
And we just
I mean,
lost power a couple of weeks ago too.
That's
We had a-
asinine, as far as I'm concerned.
Too
We're
well.
gonna get hurt.
But you're all set for now.
Right now,
This
yeah.
is not like your generator's dying.
I don't think it is.
No, they put some hooks up.
Which leads me to a question, what are we gonna do with the old generator? Is there resale value in it that we can get $500 or $1,000 or something out of it to go towards the purchase of it?
It's
Buy
a,
a new one for 300.
it's a forestry. Something forestry gave us after the ice storm. We were,
Yeah.
we're using this as a place for people to go and find it.
Wasn't it on a trailer at one time, Jeff?
Yeah,
Is it still?
no.
No.
Why don't we
Okay,
work,
so
why
what do you
don't,
guys wanna do
Make
about
make
it?
a motion to get more information.
yeah, why don't
on
we work
whole
with the fire
situation.
department, we're not in an emergency situation, and see what can and might be done. And
Maybe when we have the electrician come over to decide about the sign light out here and the monument lot and all the rest of the stuff, he can do a walk around.
I'll second that.
Okay, yep.
Let's have a vote.
who made the motion?
I
Tom.
made the motion.
All right, we're up to item 9, road issues and maintenance, road commissioners update, the
Okay.
road commissioner report.
Yeah, and I put the road commissioner's report in your packet.
Yeah.
So the other item under the road issue is an offer from Lance for material, equipment, and labor for the section from his driveway to the section where the town has been.
Mr. Lentini's. Actually, the town at times has done all the way in, but from my neighbor here, Mr. Lentini's, down to my driveway, I made an offer at the road committee meeting that I own 1,000 yards of gravel locally, okay? And I have a bulldozer, needs a little work right now. It needs to be fixed, and I also offered to purchase the fabric from Mr. Lentini's driveway to my driveway. Also, just as you get to my driveway, I'm willing to give the town an easement for a turnaround, okay? That's far superior to anything that you got up there right now. Okay, I just have to remove a few trees and many times the plow truck has come down and turned around at my driveway, many times. We'll need to have some ditching. I'm not doing that. Ditching, I need one culvert set, probably need 2 culverts. I don't know that you're going to be able to set them deep enough to use plastic ones. I'm really not sure about that. But when you come from the west from Mr. Lentini's, on the south side of the road, the trees are set back far enough. But as you come to the field, the trees grow right out to the edge of the road. I ain't touching those. Okay, they belong to my neighbors, the Cleves farm. Okay, I'm not touching those. Okay, you'll have to, if you're going to plow in there, you're going to have to address that with the Cleves farm. And they're not high-value trees, and popple and hornbeam, and they do come right out to the edge. So that, I have a skidder, but I'm not touching them. I don't want to create bad neighbors, okay? But that's my offer. I'd have to get permission from the guy I bought the gravel from to make sure that we can go into the pit. It's right, I don't know if it's right near Black Street. Okay, so it's only maybe 3-4 miles to the road. That's my offer to the town. And the reason I'm doing it, I don't want to wait 4 or 5 years. Okay. Okay, I don't want to wait that long, and that's why I'm making the offer. Okay, many times I actually have to drive in through my skid trail in the woods to get in, and there's no way in heck a fire truck, an emergency vehicle, could ever get in there. Spring and fall, no way to ever get in there. So that's my offer to the town for your consideration.
I have 2 questions for you, Mr. Burgess.
Yes, sir.
Number 1, the trucking of the
I'm trucking.
gravel.
No, I'm giving the material out.
Okay.
Okay, up to 1,000 yards. Okay, what's the price of a yard of gravel now?
Bank run,
Yes.
around $4.
Okay, so it's $4,000. And I know, you know what the fabric is, Peter?
No.
No.
Uh,
It's 1,600 feet from Mr. Lentini's driveway to mine. Okay?
Technically, this is a road that still should be maintained by the town, that section.
Tom, I've been very reluctant to say anything, especially when I was on the board. As I told the road committee, I didn't want there to appear to be any favoritism. Okay, so I've stayed absolutely clear of it. I wouldn't vote on anything that had anything to do with that road. But thank you to my neighbors here, and thank you, Diane, for your letter and your support, because it's gotten very critical.
Yeah.
Now,
I'll go back to the safety factor
Oh, yeah.
that's involved in there for emergency situations. Never mind just a school bus that goes up there and has to back down
oh yeah,
all the way.
all of us are getting older up there.
Well, so you don't have an idea.
You just lost all your support.
Walking home. I said all of us.
Cost, do you have some kind of approximation of the total included cost of this project?
Well, I don't know how much the fabric is, so you know the price of the value of the gravel and my time and the use of my dozer, so it could be $10,000-12,000.
And here again, I'm not trying to show any favoritism or anything, but it's a town road. I think it's something that the town should take care of rather than an individual that already pays.
That was
quite a
my
bit of
thoughts too in the
taxes.
whole thing. You're really generous in this whole thing, but it's really the town's responsibility to,
But
it should have been done years ago.
Yeah, well, there's the thing. Like you said, he doesn't want to wait another 5 years to
I know,
get this done.
so-
This is something.
Well, that's an
Needs
issue
to
for
be
me,
done.
that I don't want to wait another 5 years
Yeah.
to do that.
You act the budget.
I don't disagree with either one of you, but I'm not gonna tell Lance he can't donate.
No, I'm not gonna tell him either. I'm just gonna
That's
say
what-
that it is our responsibility and
Well, it's up to you to accept it.
And there
I
will
make
be-
a motion to accept it because I'm greedy when it comes to anything like
Right.
that, but
If we could
A
do it,
second.
if you could have the motion to accept the offer with appropriate sign-offs. So,
Yeah.
as a volunteer, you just have to sign that you're doing this as a volunteer.
But you know, would there be any reason why he couldn't use the town bulldozer, so he didn't have to go the expense of fixing his?
Well, mine's got to be fixed anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's got to be fixed anyway.
Well, I
Be
know
quicker
you're,
though, just use the town.
Well,
Go tomorrow.
you don't, you're not going to be up there tomorrow.
you've gotta get it up there.
You're not going to be up there tomorrow.
Yeah, the town will still have some expense, because there's some trees that may have to be done, there's some
Oh, yeah.
ditching, and there's
Culverts.
some culverts, et cetera.
And move the material. But this all hinges on
But
whether the landowner's going to let me in there.
The only problem I see is we may be looking at another special town meeting because we technically can't spend money on a private road.
It's not a
It's not a
private
private
road.
road.
So it's always been there all the
It
time?
still is.
That was the original road. The road out around the hill.
It's never been discontinued.
Okay.
The road out
Technically,
around
all
the
the way down
hill.
to the corner by Cleve, that's still all technically
I
town
can remember
road.
riding, 20 years ago, riding a snowmobile down across your backyard there.
I
Well,
went through there a
Yeah.
couple years ago, Majid.
yeah, that, the east end of the hill is
I went down over.
treacherous.
Okay, let's make a
Double
motion
run the
to
sled.
move the slides.
We got, Melissa made the motion.
Dale.
Dale
Dale, you
seconded.
guys ready to take a vote?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Okay.
Mr.
Did you
Opposed?
vote?
I am voting in the nay.
And why are you voting in the
I just
nay?
have a problem with private citizens. I appreciate the offer and the generosity and everything else, but I just don't agree with a private citizen putting out that kind of money to
And where do you
rectify a
put
problem.
that? No, you. Where do you put the limit? Because I've watched you donate all sorts of stuff around here.
That's because of the extreme pay that I get.
Yeah, and your time every day, and how many days are you working for us for free while Ken goes on vacation? Huh?
Oh, I'm not getting the
No, you're
salary
not.
of the, wait a minute, let's go back to that item.
Not a bit.
You're
Not a bit.
not allowed.
Okay, we have a vote.
Okay.
All right, let's move on
Can
to,
I, before we leave the Gray Road,
okay.
one piece of, I think, is good news
Give.
is on
That's worth that.
Tuesday,
Maybe.
No maybes, Jeff.
the resort will be torched.
Really?
It's coming down.
And anything else we can push in there.
As long as they've got the power in it.
Yeah, they have to, gotta
You'll
get the
burn
power
off.
taken off.
Anything else they can push.
That's a good.
So you need the bulldozer up there by Tuesday.
Okay, just thought I'd,
All right, item 10, appointments none. Item 11, reports none. Item 12, consent items, treasurer and payroll warrants. Make a motion to approve item number 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, with the additions of 69, 70, and 71.
Second.
I don't know.
right there, under the ballot box.
You broke it.
No, I fixed it one time. You should have seen what condition it's in.
Okay.
Yeah, we never did talk about that, did we?
Hey, so you get with him and
I have to find
talk
out.
about.
Find donation.
Going first.
Why the heck?
Got your antiques all up?
Just one.
You got two on each of them, I'll sign it after we're done, and just get out of here.
Oh, you didn't sign a lot of them this time.
I didn't sign any of them this time, but you guys did, so as long as there's two on every one, we're good to go.
This time, it's not all my fault.
Hey, I've been busy. I had to listen to you. I don't usually do that down here.
I don't even have them all.
Although Doreen says technically we can approve them and then come sign them later.
Oh, I had a question on,
Just follow me, somebody else's children category. Somebody else's children.
something here. On the warrant 68 here, the Unitarian Universalist Church, I realize it's for the food thing.
No, it's a fuel, actually.
All of it, or just, there was $250 that.
Oh, I'm sorry, that one was for the, yes. We also paid Universalist Church some money for fuel.
Okay.
The 250 was what was authorized by the voters.
Okay.
And 250, to each of the two food cupboards.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so
Left
that's all,
over,
yeah, that's the food cupboard.
And the World of Flags, what flags did we?
For the cemeteries.
Most Okay.
What are those bids
Sign it.
finally?
You gonna sign this one?
For mowing,
Yeah.
tomorrow, Monday.
So, are we waiting, how is that gonna work?
I'll see what they come
All right,
in.
that one you have to sign.
We're meeting within a week.
Both of them?
So we meet the second
Yeah,
Tuesday,
yeah.
and the first Tuesday comes real early.
We're gonna make, I really think we should have, next year, if we're gonna do the bid, we need to get them out sooner.
I agree. No argument there.
Because like this time, I know usually they use the week of vacation.
I know, yep. That's me, my fault.
Anybody seconded?
Yes, we have, yeah, Dale seconded.
So can we
Yeah.
have a vote?
Run down, but you, I don't think you have them all on the list here. I don't have them all listed on my,
Do you have up to
69, 70,
71?
I
71?
don't have 71.
There's 71. That's a
It
payroll.
must have been a later version.
That's a payroll.
No, it
When
was
I handed you, when you-
warrant articles, it was an amendment.
on the additions to the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
69, 70.
Yeah, go ahead and
Okay,
run down
vote.
them, we're good.
That's unanimous. Item 13, abatements and supplements, none. Item 14, executive session, none. Item 15, adjournment.
8:35.
Make a motion to adjourn at 8:35. Do we have a second?
Second.
Yeah.
Vote?
Yep.
We're out of here.
Thank you.